So, maybe forget how to share this. Here we go. Okay. Hey, everyone joining in. Just let me know who you are. If you're here sharing it on Facebook, I would invite you to as well. Okay. So, hey, Amanda. Hey, Samantha. All right. See if I could just share that from my phone as well. And then I'll get started. Hey, Amy. All right. Okay, so let's get to it. What have I been receiving? So, very interesting messages that I've been receiving for like the last few days. And like I said, this is probably going to be like an every Tuesday thing. Hey, Inez. So, I'm going to be doing one Tuesday with a pick a card reading because everyone loves those and those are fun. And then I'm going to be doing these readings the other Tuesday. So we're switching off. So every Tuesday I should be doing reading unless I'm like dying or something. Yeah. So hey Marcus, thank you for joining in. If anybody could please share on Facebook, that would be great. I'm getting more people to join in. I like to have an audience when I'm live. But anyways, because I'm just like that. All right. So here we go. What's happening? What have I been channeling from Mother Earth? What has she been telling me to tell you guys? Hey, Chalita. Hey, Crazy K. um, Thank you everyone for joining in. So yeah, ask questions about anything that I'm connecting with here. And let's see. So, all right. So one of the things that keeps coming in is with the communities that we're in, with the spiritual community. So like here's the thing. I feel like I've been getting really annoyed lately. I'm going through a purging process too because I'm in the spiral, which is like a clearing modality and things. But as you go through this process, your energy elevates and you begin to see things from a different perspective. And I feel like that's what's going on. It's like a lot of you know what I mean? Like you're like, what the fuck is this? So I have been feeling that there is a lot of feminine energy in the spiritual community. So like I was receiving this message and I'm like, what is this? Like what are you trying to tell me about this? Is it like a negative thing? No, absolutely not. But we definitely need some more balance here, folks. We need some more masculine energy integrated into our communities because it'll help balance out. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the wounded feminine and then the wounded masculine. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I want to give you a little bit of like my perception of like what's happening here and some of the issues and things that I've have been seeing in the community since I've been in it professionally for about 6 years. So let's go into the wounded feminine. The wounded feminine, um, like, all right, so like this is how I'm seeing it. Like the wounded feminine created the spiritual community. Obviously, because been living in like a patriarchy for the last like couple thousand years. So the wounded feminine needed a place to go and to heal. This and the new age spiritual communities have been creating from that, right? So like this is where we are. Then we have the wounded masculine energy. So the wounded masculine energy is like kind of like the patriarchy. It's like overpowering, like pulling power from people. And then you have the wounded feminine who is very introvert, likes to be by herself, runs away from problems and issues, constantly stays in a place of I guess of like how would I connect with this? Like stays in a place of victim mode, like "Ooh, nobody's ever gonna like me. I'm not like it's complete lack of power, which is very disruptive to our fields. And one of the messages that I was getting is that it's almost like the wounded feminine is pushing out the divine masculine from actually integrating in to the spiritual community. So there's, the I'm using too many words here. The divine masculine is all about being in your power. It's all about stability, structure, strength, like really standing strong in who you are, knowing who you are. It's not about appeasing, like pleasing everyone else, like more like the divine feminine would be like pleasing others while you're pleasing yourself, like a lot of pleasure, a lot of nurturing, a lot of that. And I feel like that what is happening, because I hear this a lot from people, is like they're like, I don't understand why my boyfriend, my husband, they don't understand the work that I'm in and the work that I'm doing. And this was the message that I'm told to really tell right now, is that they're not understanding because they don't want to be. So we're talking about like really masculine energy here. Like a lot of men, especially in our society, are taught how to live through the masculine. Like they're taught, and it's almost like the wounded masculine. It's like taking that power. It's not being vulnerable. It's not like opening up. It's not feeling. So we're trying to integrate these energies into each other, and it's not working. It's like colliding with each other and they're not understanding each other. And, as a female, I carry a lot of masculine energy. And this has been something that I've been seeing, like working through the spiral, is that really, really feminine energy doesn't work for me because it feels out of alignment with me. And I really like the balance of both. I think that it's great. And I think that's why I feel like I'm pulling away from the spiritual community a little bit and going more into coaching and going into empowering people, because that is the divine masculine. But within that, you got to stay in flow, you got to stay in creativity. So you got to integrate both. But I feel like a lot of like, it's almost like the feminine energy. So let's forget about the wounded and the divine. The feminine energy is almost pushing out the masculine in the spiritual community, in the divine community, because it doesn't feel safe with that energy there. And we need to really begin to feel safe integrating the masculine in so we can allow more men into the community. I feel like a lot of people have a problem with this, or they're not understanding to this. And this is why in the Magic of Reiki book, the symbol came upon for balancing the feminine masculine. Yes, it's very important. This is why, men are kind of like not repulsed, but they like want nothing to do with spiritual work. And to me, I can totally understand it, because if I was a man, do you think that I would want to go in a circle with a bunch of women and hear them becoming very emotional and vulnerable? Like that is not something that a lot of men would feel very comfortable with. So I leave it up like open in this conversation, like how can we allow that masculine energy to integrate a little bit more? I feel like we in the community, it's like we push that energy out, we push it away, we don't want it in. And I can understand, because it's caused a lot of hurt, it's caused a lot of pain. And this is a safe space where a lot of females feel comfortable and where they release and where they let go. And then the conundrum here is like, well, how come my partner, my significant other, wants nothing to do with it? Well, because they don't want anything to do with hearing a bunch of females crying and complaining about their problems. So this is why in the past like year or two I've been very adamant on, I can't deal with the victim mentality anymore. I can't deal with no lack of accountability. I can't deal with people going in the cycle of just like healing and then not doing the work, healing and then not doing the work, healing and that not doing the work. That is associated, I feel like, with the wounded feminine, because the divine masculine would be healing and doing the work, healing and doing the work. That would be the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So it's really like a call to action and how we can allow ourselves to integrate these energies better within ourselves, how we can open up to the masculine within our communities and really connect with them. So the world can begin to wake up a little bit more. It's not just the feminine energy that's beginning to wake up. It's got to be the masculine too. This is the messages that the earth has been telling me to connect with you all on. So, it is a little bit confusing when I keep using like these, like the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It seems that right now we're in a standstill on the planet where we're purging a lot. So we're releasing a lot of those wounds. So it feels like we may be cycling into the same things, but I feel like right now, karmically, we're healing a lot of things. So we also need to be, have a sense of knowing that that is actually working and that we are working through that. I actually want to pull some cards right now because I'm feeling that. So pull some cards on this subject, get a little bit more clear. Yeah. Well, I feel like men don't want to connect with their feelings because there's also a lot of backlash towards men with the way that they feel. Like maybe they're not supposed to feel a certain way, or maybe they're not supposed to be comfortable feeling a certain way. So I feel like there's a lot of confusion for the masculine energy right now. And I think in terms of like, this is another thing that I received, but I didn't write down. Sometimes this is why I don't like writing things down and I just like to channel. I feel like when we go super into the feminine with this subject, with divine connection, with spiritual community, and we don't integrate the masculine, we're only talking about the spiritual end of it. We're not talking about the more scientific end of it. So the more scientific end would be the more rational end. So I feel like that's why somebody like Joe Dispenza is actually really popular right now, because he talks a lot about energy and frequency and quantum and shifting the energy, shifting your mindset. It's not just about connecting to your spirit guides and hearing the messages from them. And I feel like that is something that men can connect with more, or people with more masculine energy can connect with more. And when I talk about like feminine and masculine, I'm not just talking about male and female, because even when I first started doing this work and I would see like you know, like the Doreen Virtue or that kind of energy, I was kind of like, I don't know. I did connect with Doreen Virtue because I feel like the way that she explained things worked really well for me. And with Doreen Virtue's energy, it was very easy for me to understand. But when I kind of looked at someone like her, I was like, oh God, like I could never hang out with you. But, that's like my opinion. But it's like overly feminine, and in a way that doesn't support the masculine. It doesn't support the masculine because they need a rational way of kind of looking at things and feeling into things. That's how that energy works. That's how it connects. So when it's all about feeling all the time, it actually will kind of repel the masculine. The masculine will be like, I don't really care about your feelings, I don't really care about how you feel, because this is the way that the situation is right now, and this is how we need to deal with what is actually going on. So and like I did do a rant the other day on Facebook where I was kind of like, I feel like I'm stuck in between two super feminine energies, and it's like, get me the fuck out of here, like break me out of this shit, because this is not what I want to project on my community, or this is not who I am. I carry that masculine, I carry that strength, I carry that power, like, as long as I can remember, like I was around people that did crazy fucked up shit, and like I held my own, like I was in my own space because I was strong in who I was and who I am. That's masculine. That's masculine strength. That's why I'm connecting with. I feel like the energy this year is the energy of the emperor. And what we've been doing for a while is we've been really pulling in the divine feminine, the divine feminine, divine feminine. And now here comes like 2019, 2020, the divine masculine's trying to come in. And then there's a lot of feminine energy that's just pushing it out and pushing it away because it's afraid of what the wounded masculine has done on the planet in the past. And that's the past. It's really time for us to move forward and integrate both. And like, here's the thing with the spiritual community that really fucking annoys me, and I don't want to carry into the future of my teachings and what I do, is that everything is just based on intuition. And there's not a lot of rational thinking within that. There's not a lot. It's just kind of going with the flow and the feeling of things. And then there's no structure there. And I feel like that's why a lot of people that create within the spiritual community can't make it that far because they don't have that divine masculine to like lay the foundation for them so that they can be supported while they create. It's actually like looked at as like something as more of a negative, like, oh no, I don't want to be a part of that structure or that system because that's bad and that hasn't worked. But when you do two together, you have to make it work and balance it out, and that's how you begin to build and create something that is stronger and more supportive for what it is that you are actually doing. There's a lot in the spiritual community where it's like there's a lot coming in. Hang on. There's a lot in the spiritual community where kind of lost my train of thought. Very disorganized. Yes, very disorganized, and it hinders the growth. It doesn't allow you to get past a certain space. I kind of just lost what was coming in, so I'm going to pull a card. Thank you, Colleen. Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you again. Sabrina says, me too. And people are intimidated or offended by it. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. And that's something that I noticed too. Me and Jess, like a lot of people think that we're like lesbians or something. Like we're not, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like we're super heterosexual females. Like we love men, but we carry masculine energy, and to other females, like super feminine females, they've always been intimidated by us since me and Jess have like been hanging out and together. It's always been that thing of like, I don't know, here comes Ashley and Jess, you know what I mean? And then it's like, we just really knew who the fuck we were and stood strong in that. And other females were intimidated by that and created a lot of judgment around us because we just didn't give a fuck. We were like, well, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is how we feel. Like we were very upfront with who we were. We weren't passive at all. Like we were beyond passive. Like we're way more passive than we are now. I mean, we are way more passive now than we were before. And I can sense that in the spiritual community, and then even in the coaching community, and sense that like I don't fit in, I don't fit in anywhere. Like I can't imagine me being like anybody else that I see within the system. And like when I look at my future self, when I connect with my future self, it is something that is totally different and hasn't been seen in any part of like the spiritual community or the coaching community. It just hasn't happened. It's totally, completely fucking different. And sometimes when you get in that mode where you're like, damn, I'm like totally different, you start to doubt yourself because you're like, are people even going to be accepting of this? Is this going to be something that I can build on? Is this going to be something that I can create on? And that is something that you need to trust and believe in because it's who you are. And I feel like the big thing with me is like, yes, I have been helping a lot of women. Like, I would say 98% of my clients are women, but I really want to open it up to the masculine energy. I want to open it up to the rational thinkers. I want to open it up to the people that want more stability. They want more money. They want to be better in their life financially and be okay with that, but also be open to their divine connection or be open to the divine feminine flow. And I want men to come in my community and feel comfortable. I don't want men coming in my community and being like, damn, I got to sit in a circle with a bunch of women talking about their fucking periods and all this weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. That's great for women's circles. But I think that on the collective level, like, I am here to open my community up to a lot of different people. And I want a lot of people to wake up. Like, I am feeling that it is time for men to begin waking up. Like, I want to create a space where so and so can bring their husband and their husband can feel comfortable coming to a spirit circle, coming to some sort of, whether it's like a group coaching session, a reading night, whatever it is. That is the energy that I am putting out there now, because I do feel like that men are being ignored in this process of healing, and men need healing too. And this is part of the problem is like, you know, yes, feminine energy went through a lot of shit. Like, I'm not saying that, but we also need men to open up to healing, and they're not going to open up to healing when things are overly feminine. So does that mean if like you have a super feminine practice where you're only working with women, you change that? No, hell no. It doesn't mean that. That might be your path to only help women. So, but what I am saying is that I feel like we need to be conscious of opening up the community to men. Even if you're not here to support men, I feel like we need to be open to that and be aware of, hey, what do they need in order to heal? What do they need in order to wake up to their divine connection? What do they feel connected with that will heal the wounded masculine so they can come in and connect with that balance and not feel awkward and not feel out of place and feel connected and feel open and want to communicate and be open with the community. I feel they choose to ignore it very purposely. Yeah, because men are taught to ignore their feelings. They're just taught that. That's what they're taught in their society. So it just goes in that cycle, and then they don't want to open up. Yes, Colleen, we have to heal together. Well, I think that like the main message here is that, we need to be open to, and this is the other part of the message that's coming in. So let me go into this message. So here's the thing with the spiritual community. There's a lot of extremes in it. It's like, oh no, you're not spiritual if you don't do this. Like, you have to do this in order to be a spiritual person. And literally the message that I received from Mother Earth is spirituality is not separate from reality anymore. That is the old paradigm. So when we go into it thinking one foot in one reality and then one foot in the other, it's like when you begin to get to the 5D, I feel like I work in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th dimension sometimes. You're connecting both realities together. So that means you're working in the human form, you're working in the galactic form, you're working in the higher self form, you're working in all of these different energies collectively and together. And we've created, due to the old paradigm, is like this separation of separating the divine from humanity. And now in the form of the new earth, we are bringing that together. And I think what happens in the spiritual community is like, you have to be this way in order to be in this community. And I feel like that is what is pushing people away and not allowing people to wake up, is because, I know a lot of unawakened people. I know a lot of people that want help, but they don't want to come into the fucking kumbaya, give me a heart hug circle. Like, they want a sense of reality and what is going on. And I feel like that is what we need to bring to the table, is like a part of real reality with the spiritual connection, because that entails spiritual growth. And there is a lot of judgment, and I'm not going to say that I've never judged anybody with, where they are in their spiritual growth, because everyone in the fucking community has. But what I'm beginning to realize is that People don't want to go and wake up to and like have to listen to some fucking guru. Like when somebody says to me, "Oh, my guru," or then they put these people on a pedestal or even call me a guru, it's like, oh, like, no, like those days are over. Those days are over. It's about finding the teacher within ourselves and finding the guides. Like, I would call myself a guide. I would call myself a guide to people that are here on this planet. Yes, I am a leader. I am in a leadership position. I have people that follow me, but I don't want everyone to follow every single word that I say. I don't want people to put me on a pedestal like I am some superhuman being that they could never attain that level. I am here to show people that, hey, look at me. Look at how fucked up I was and look at how I got here. That is what I am here to do. Essentially, to me, the age of the guru is over. The guru is fucking dead. That does not exist anymore in this reality. We are all teachers, we are all students. There are some that are more advanced than others, but it just has to do with their experience, knowledge, and wisdom. And I feel like that this is an issue with the spiritual community is that they separate themselves so much from the reality and what is going on outside of that in the actual reality with people that are dealing with real problems and real things, and it becomes spiritual bypassing. Like they don't want to look at that anymore. They don't want to like people in that reality, in the 3D reality, look at some people, a lot of people in the spiritual community, and they're like, ugh, like I don't want anything to do with that shit because they look at it as something that's not tangible. It's something that they can't connect with. It's something that they can't connect with their current reality. When you're helping somebody wake up, here's a tip. Try to connect them, try to connect the divine with their current reality. Don't go in it as in a way of like, Archangel Michael or something that they really can't grasp at that moment. You have to open the person up by looking at their reality, connecting with them within their reality, and then taking a piece and a part of the divine and allowing them to open up within that. So, for example, when people used to come in the shop and they knew nothing about chakras and Reiki and all that stuff, they'd be like, "What is Reiki?" And I'd be like, "It's kind of like taking like a spiritual shower. It's like, think about it. You got to wake up every day and you're going to clean yourself and you're going to change your clothes and you're going to, make sure that your body is clean, your teeth are clean, your hair is clean. I mean, most people to go out into the world and be a presentable person." Well, think about it in the sense that's what I used to say. It's just like, it's just cleaning out the aura. It's cleaning out your energy field. It's cleaning out the gunk that, your ex gate like connected with you, or it's cleaning out like all of the shit that your mom kind of embeds in you. It's just cleaning that system out and allowing you to feel a little bit more lifted in your vibration and in your frequency. I always used to talk in terms of energy with new people. I never went in it like there's some people that would come in and we could have the aliens and galactic and spirit guides and higher self conversation with. But when people don't understand, it's like talking in terms of energy. And I feel like that's why Joe Dispenza is so popular now because that is how he communicates with his people is like in terms of energy and reprogramming the mind and reprogramming the brain and shifting your emotions about your emotional patterns, your behavioral patterns. Like these are things that people can understand. And I feel like when we go into that and a lot of people they meet someone new and then they're just like floating around and they're really fucking flighty and they're talking about the ascension process in the 12th dimension and the ascended master realm and like done. The unawakened person is fucking done. Like they want nothing to do with you. They're like, fuck it, I'm out. I ain't even fucking with you. You know what I mean? And then what happens with that spiritual person is they begin judging because they're like, oh, well, they're not ready yet and they have more healing to do and they're not on my vibration. And that is the separation. That is the disconnect. That is the break in the chain. It's like the universe bringing people together to try to connect. And then one has one ideology that is super strong and super extreme, and the other one has one ideology that is super strong and super extreme, one in the 3D, one in whatever dimensional energy that they're in, and they can't connect. And this is why people on the planet have such a hard time waking up. It's because they're brought in situations where they're connecting with people to try to wake up, and then they can't do it because they can't grasp what it is that that person is trying to project and connect. Also, too, I don't want you to have to like lower your frequency to try to connect with people, but it's talking in terms and in their language where you can connect with them. You can see their points of view and then use the knowledge that you've attained to try to connect with them instead of putting yourself on a fucking pedestal because you're in the seventh dimension and they're in the 3D. That's fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Like, looking at that, we're like, yo, that's not how we should be treating people. We should be treating people in the aspect of like, hey, let me connect with you. And some days you're just not going to be with it. Like, you're just going to be like, I don't even want to have this conversation with you. And that's fine. But know that your energy and your frequency and your vibration will still be a catalyst for them waking up. But I feel like if you look at them and you're judging them and you're like, ugh, they're so not awakened, you're literally shutting your higher frequency off from connecting to them and allowing them to have that fucking awakening. And that's what I see that happens all the time, you know? And then when you get in the spiritual community, it's like, oh, that person's like on a lower vibration. And like, you know, sometimes people are, and sometimes people are going through shit. But I feel like we need to catch ourselves in this because it's not like any of us haven't done this, but it's like catching ourselves in this and realizing, like, wait a minute, we are here to awaken. We are here to help others awaken. Um, I have heard a hard enough time wanting to, I have had a hard enough time wanting to talk to people, let alone connect with them. Yeah. Um, I've been doing this with my husband and he's starting to come around. Yeah. And like as far as husbands, um, like I've definitely coached a lot of my clients about how to communicate with their husbands. So what I do is like I ask them, what are your husband's beliefs? Like what do they think of what you do? You know, I need to get a little background information of like where they're at. You know what I mean? Like some husbands are like super into conspiracy stuff. So I'm like, good, that's a way to get it, you know? And then some husbands are like in the super 3D and like you have to talk in terms of energy and frequency. And it's almost like you have to kind of be there and hold space for them a little bit so they can allow themselves to wake up when they're ready to. Like, not everyone is going to wake up when you want them to. It doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't. It happens when people are ready. It happens when they're ready to see. And the more that you try to force people to do it, the more that they're not going to be able to do it. Um, so yeah, we really need to like stop putting ourselves on a pedestal, but at the same time, we need to have confidence in ourselves that we actually are gods. We are all gods. We are creators of the reality that we want with yeah. I mean, a lot of guys believe in aliens. Like that's kind of like an easy like get in there, you know what I mean? um but yeah, we are creators of our reality, but at the same time, we all have the ability to do what anybody else on the planet has done. So, as far as the masculine and feminine, we definitely need some more masculine energy in order to create the foundations that we want to create, in order to grow our communities, in order to expand our communities, in order to bring finances into our communities, in order to bring sustainability into our communities. We need that energy. We cannot just be all over the place, disorganized, and then expecting ourselves to have growth within our communities if we don't want to move out of these cycles and patterns that we've been in. What if they don't believe in anything? I don't know. Everyone's different. So if they don't believe in anything, I mean, then there's just some people that they don't want to change. It has nothing to do with, you know what I mean? Like whether they believe or not. It's just in that sense, like there have been people I've talked to and it's like talking to a wall. And it's like, well, you just don't want to hear another point of view. So at that point, that's kind of like when you're like, is this person aligned with me? Can I picture ourselves growing together? Can I picture us having, good conversations and um expanding our relationship? Like that's when you have to, yeah, look at that. Like the person lost his children semi denouncing the Lord. This is pretty deep. So like to me that means that he needs healing work. Like he needs could be talk therapy or any form of energetic work to help him release those emotions. And like that's the thing too is a lot of men don't know how to do that. So um you know it's up to him if he wants to help himself as well. You can't force him to do that. And look at some of these comments. Feel like I'm too in my feminine energy, says Marcus. Definitely need to figure out how to tap into the masculine. So, good masculine energy to tap into, like Odin's really good. Like, if you want to connect to a deity energy, or Marcus, you can call in the energy of the sun. The energy of the sun has a very masculine energy to it. It's all about creating action, manifestation, the sun is the light. The sun, a lot of people say, is connected to the energy of the god, the energy of growth. So you could connect to that energy in order to, like, maybe, I don't know, Marcus, if you do like moon stuff, but I would cut out on the moon stuff for a while and connect with the energy of the sun through meditation and things like that. Because the moon is very feminine. Let's see what else. Yeah, we're all teachers and we're all learners. Amanda said, balancing the head and the heart. Yes, 100%. All right. See if there's anything else. I didn't even pull any cards. Yes, the galactic sun will definitely help you um, connect more to masculine. And I also feel like too, like that's why a lot of Viking stuff is coming back on the planet. If you haven't noticed that, because the Viking energy, the Norse energy, is a great way for people with a lot of masculine energy, especially men, to connect to their divinity, to their divine, in a sense of like spiritual or pagan or anything like that. Men feel very connected to that energy because it's strong, it's tough, it holds a lot of that stamina, like that masculine strength. Get grounded. I swear I pull this card all the time. All right, well, fucking, I feel like I tell you guys this all the time. Get grounded, says the card. There's definitely a lot releasing on the planet right now. So a lot of us are feeling very overly sensitive, feeling constricted, feeling confined, feeling like you don't know which way to go. So yeah, grounding will definitely help with that. So you can go into meditation. I always say connect with your earth star chakra. I feel like Z is trying to talk to me. Never mind. Okay. Let's see what else comes up. Keepers of the earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we can't have healing on the planet until we honor both the masculine and feminine. It's becoming quite apparent that like this is the message that the earth needs us to do is really balance out both right now. So if you feel like you're in one more than the other, it's just allowing that other energy to come into your life. That's all it is. It's like literally you going into meditation and just saying, I allow more feminine energy in. Like, I have to do that. I have to allow the feminine energy in. Cause like I am like balls to the walls. I'll go out and get whatever I want. And like that doesn't work. Like you have to, I mean, it works for men in order to manifest like that more, is like they use that energy. But as a female, I have to allow the flow within me. I have to allow that creation in me. Um, I definitely need to start working more with the Earth Star chakra. Yeah, it's a good chakra to work with. I wish there was a way to find out a percentage of how much feminine and masculine. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if I could figure out a way how to do that. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like even if you look at this card, I don't know if you can really see that. But everything in here is super balanced. Like the cat on one, the cougar on one side, the lady in the middle. Everything here, like if you cut it down the middle, would almost be like perfect symmetry except for this lady's head. So it's talking about the balance that we need to attain at this time. Marcus, I feel like what you could do is like open up to a journaling prompt of asking your higher self, am I more in the feminine? And how do I integrate the masculine into my energy? And just do some free flowing journaling and see what comes up. All right, let's see what other cards. Angelic. I don't know what that means, honestly. Serenity. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Aura photography would do that. I didn't even think of that. Okay. Angelic and serenity. What does that mean? Okay, so like I feel like right now there's a lot of energy on the planet that is like anxiety and angst and like not feeling at peace with anything. Like it's like a hustle and bustle and like trudging through the mud. And I feel like in order for us to balance that out, we need to trust in the divine, that we are in the right space at the right time, but also just be at peace when things don't feel right sometimes. You know, it's like just be at peace with where you are, especially if you're trying and you're trying and trying and things aren't working. It's just to kind of pull back a little bit and just allow things to work behind the scenes that you're not seeing, and then knowing when to take action. So it's trusting into your intuition, which would be more of the feminine, and then taking action, which would be the balance. All right. I mean, the masculine. Somebody type balance and it distracted me. All right. I feel like I'm done here for tonight. So I'll see you guys next week on the Ascension NXT page for the ABC reading. I hope that you all enjoyed this reading. And I hope that you all have a good night. And yeah. All right. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good night. Bye.